Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Hope you guys are doing well on this Wednesday night. Hope everyone's staying safe and doing all the right things and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, welcome to the 2020 preview of the Manly Warringah Seagulls, or the Manly Seagulls, or Manly, or however you want to put it. So let's just get straight into the video. So we'll go through the preview. I believe this is the last team to preview, so I'd like to thank everyone that has watched all of the previews so far. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I will be doing a ladder prediction as well, just in case people don't want to sit there and watch a 10-minute preview, but I will be doing a ladder prediction as well. That'll probably be a 7-8 minute video, just so everyone knows what I'm predicting, instead of everyone having to sit there and watch whatever. But that's just for the people who don't watch videos and like me going through it. So let's just get straight into it. So we'll go through the side that I've selected for the Manly Seagulls, the 1-17 that I think they would be better off going with. And yeah, so let me know in the comments below what you think of this side, and I'll go through it right now. So fullback, Tom Trbojevic. On the wings, George Tafua and Ruben Garrick. In the centres, Brandon Elliott and Moses Suli. In the halves, Dylan Walker and the captain, Daly Cherry Evans. The front row is Addin Fonua-Blake and Martin Tapau. The hooker is Danny Levi. The second row is Joel Thompson, Curtis Sheridan. The lock is Jake Trbojevic. And on the interchange bench, we got Corey Waddell, Tafoa Sipley, Jack Jajeski, and the big T-Rex, Tony Williams. Now, I know Corey Waddell probably won't be fit for round 3, but in saying that, who knows these days. But you know, when someone's out for 6 weeks, they're back in about 3 or 4. It's crazy how that goes these days. But that's the 1-17 Manly side that I would personally go with. I think Brad Parker's a bit, I don't know if he's a great player to be in a NRL side yet. He's probably more of a reserve grade player. I think Brendan Elliott is just too good for reserve grade. He should be in this side. He should be in a team somewhere. Brendan Elliott, if you're not getting picked for Manly, the Cowboys are looking for a winger. We'll take Brendan Elliott. I like Brendan Elliott. He's solid. I remember last year when he covered for Turbo, did a great job. Now, what do the Manly Seagulls lack? I don't think they lack much. I think there's a couple of little things that you can probably nick around that they could lack, but nothing too much. So I think they might lack, like I said before about Brendan Elliott, maybe another outside back. Brad Parker usually plays in the centres, and I think they'll maybe lacking that other outside back that could really help them go to the next level. Maybe another strike outside back. Maybe someone like Nick Cotric or Campbell Graham. Any of those two would be a good fit at Manly. I understand Nick Cotric's better off. I understand Nick Cotric wants to play centres this year. Don't know if he'll get the chance at Canberra, but hey, Manly could use another centre. Maybe Nick Cotric could go to Manly. I don't think it'll happen, but it's just a suggestion. Campbell Graham, solid play, could be a good fit there. He's played a little bit of centre. He's shown that he's interested in being in the centres. If I was Manly, I wouldn't play Ruben Garrick in the centres. I don't think that works. And you can't play George Tafua centre because he's obviously not a centre. But, maybe someone like Cotric or Campbell Graham could be a good fit if they were, for whatever reason, on the market. I think maybe a little bit of depth in the forwards. If there was injuries, there wouldn't be too much depth for him to come in. Like, if Martin Tapau was out for 8 weeks, I don't know who'd come in. Probably Sipley would start then. And they got some alright backup players in Morgan Boyle and Sean Kempy, who's played the first 2 rounds, did pretty well. That other guy, what's his name? Paseka. They got a couple of good young forwards coming through, but not much depth there. Maybe like, who did I write down here? Could be a good fit. Someone like Herman Essie or a Nat Butcher could be a good addition to the bench just to get a bit of experience. Herman Essie is a solid player. Nat Butcher is pretty good. That's just suggestions if they wanted to go to the market and look for some depth. But I think they've got a little bit of depth there in the young players, like I just said. But look, I think, they don't lack too much. I think Manly not playing at Brookvale Oval or Lotto Land, whatever you want to call it, could be a bit of a distraction. Could be a bit of something they could lack. I understand most of their home games are going to be at the Central Coast, so I think that's going to be a good thing for Manly. I think Central Coast is a good place. They like to go there a fair bit. I remember back in 2008 or 2009, one of those years, they had Brookville was getting redeveloped or upgraded or something, and they had to play most of the home games at Central Coast, and they were pretty good there. So I don't think it'd be a negative. I think it'd be more of a positive, but it could affect them not playing at home in front of 20,000 or so at Brookie, where they would get most afternoons or most nights I'd get a sellout or close to it when they obviously going well. I don't think they lack too much. I think they've got a really good back line, a good forward pack, good halves, good bench. They don't really lack much. They have a good roster, and there's not really much negativity about them except maybe that other center's position that's questioned by Brad Parker or Brendan Elliott, which probably gets questioned a little bit. And the bench, the bench is not bad. Guys like Corey Waddell, who was outstanding last year. Jack Jajeski, I think, is the future of the Seagulls. Tafawa Sipley was pretty good last year. He's solid. And Big T-Rex, Tony Williams. Des Hasler has basically brought Tony Williams back from the dead. I think T-Rex will be good if he gets a start. I understand he's put on a lot of weight, and he's more of a front rower nowadays. Tony Williams, when he was playing, is more of a back rower. So I think T-Rex is more of a front rower than a back rower nowadays. But it'll be interesting to see if T-Rex does get a crack. But, what do Manly gain this year? I think the best thing for Manly going into this year is they have a very similar side to what they had last year, which I think is a really positive thing. If you can keep most of the same side that you had last year, and, Manly last year, they overachieved a lot, and they did really well, and they surprised everybody, including myself. I had them at 15th last year. They ended up coming 6th on the ladder, which is a massive positive. They obviously destroyed Cronulla in that elimination final at Brookie, and then they were robbed against South in that semi-final last year when they lost that game 34-26. That was a bit of a robbery. That was a disgrace. But, last year that they barely had Tom Trbojevic. He didn't even play half the season. They won so many games without him, which was outstanding. They won a lot of games without Tommy Turbo. They did so well. If Tommy Turbo's fit, no injuries, plays a full year, that's scary, man. Manly are going to be scarier than they were last year. They're going to be better than they were last year. I can guarantee you that. If Manly play worse this year than they did last year, I'll be very disappointed. But they have a hell of a team that can do some great things. And I think if Turbo stays fit, they're going to be good. And last year, they also lost Cherry Evans for about 8 to 10 weeks, or 6. I think it was 6 weeks, and they were still winning games. They won like 3 or 4 without Cherry Evans. So, they really do step up with Des Hasler as coach. I also think, what do I say here? I wrote down something I was going to say. Yeah, like I was saying before, with keeping the same roster, if you can keep the same roster, you can get another full season together. Basically, Manly have had the same team now for 2 years. Combinations are getting better. Relationships off and on the field are growing. They're building something special there at the Seagulls. Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans is the key to Manly. Everyone says the Turbo Brothers are the most important players of Manly. I disagree. Cherry Evans is the key to Manly. Last night, like I said in my Canberra preview, if Hodgson was out for the season, Canberra would make the 8. It's like with Manly. If Cherry Evans was out for the season, Manly would make the 8. It's just simple as that. Turbo didn't even play half the season last year, and they still made the 8 quite easily. So, they can win without Tommy Turbo, but they can't win many without Cherry Evans. Even though they did win without Cherry Evans last year, can you imagine a full year without Cherry Evans? I just don't see. If they had no Cherry Evans, they would make the 8. Just plain as day. But look, they have a great roster here, the Seagulls. I think it's going to be a really good year, and I think Des Hasler could be the coach of the year. You know what? I'm predicting Des Hasler to be coach of the year. What a coach, man. What a great coach Des Hasler is. He should have won coach of the year last year, but Bellamy won that. But this year, I reckon Des will get the coach of the year. Let's go to the predicted finish. Now, I believe Manly will have a really big year. I believe they'll finish 3rd on the competition ladder, and I actually believe that in 2020, the Manly Warringah Seagulls will win the the 2020 Grand Final. Yes, you heard it here first. The Manly Sea Eagles will be the 2020 premiers. They will win the Grand Final this year. I believe they have the team, they have the roster, they have the depth, they have it all going for them. I believe they have the right balance, and I honestly believe that the Manly Sea Eagles will be premiers this year. They are $11 on Sportsbet at the moment. I have already thrown $10 on them. I might even throw more on them. I believe the 2020 Grand Final will be the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles versus the Sydney Roosters. Third versus fourth Grand Final, like I predicted, and Manly will win the premiership. I predicted it at the start of the season, and then the whole virus happened, and I am still sticking with my prediction. They played in round 2 this year already. It was one hell of a game. I believe they will play in the Grand Final this year against each other, and Manly will win their first premiership since 2011. That is my big prediction. I wouldn't call it big. You know, from a gambling perspective, you know, I like to have a bet. I like to have a good gamble on the football. You know, Manly at $11 is absolute value, man. Juicy odds, great odds. You know, if you give me the Trbojevic brothers, you give me Cherry Evans, you give me Tapau, Fanil Blake, you give me all these sort of players, they're going to be a contender. Dylan Walker's the X factor. Dylan Walker could be the difference, Dylan Walker. He's that real X factor type player. He runs the ball like a 5'8". He does a job well at 5'8". He goes really well in that position. He does really well. I think the forward pack with Fanil Blake and Tapau, two of the best front rowers in the competition. They have a great combination together. Joel Thompson, a great experienced back rower. Curtis Sheridan, on the verge of Origin last year. Probably will go close to Origin again this year. Jake Trbojevic is absolutely fantastic. I think the hooker, Danny Levi, I think he'll have a great year. I think he'll just fit in well there. You know, the back line too. Guys like Moses Suli, what a player, reborn his career. Ruben Garrick was a nobody last year, was outstanding. Tommy Turbo. They got Cherry Evans who controls the side. You know, their attack and defence is really good too. So, I believe it's the year of the Seagulls. Whether you love them, or whether you hate them, I think Manly are in for a big year, and I think they will be premiers in 2020. Anyway, guys, that wraps up my previews for 2020. Hope you guys enjoyed the series of the 16 sides that I previewed. I'm going to get out of here. Make sure you guys, excuse me, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Share the videos. The corner post will be coming tonight as well. Should be up by 10 o'clock. Hopefully it's up before then. I'm getting out of here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.